Ever since I was at school, I used to read physics textbooks to go to sleep. So yeah, this is my happy place.
There's so much uncertainty caused by COVID. But for Professor Tony Blakely, this is a problem that's black and white. It can be solved with numbers.
We don't enjoy the fact that we need to be doing it in a worldwide pandemic, but it is a very interesting modelling task.
This epidemiologist at Melbourne University devotes just about every waking moment to solving the question that everyone in Australia is waiting for an answer to. What percentage of the population needs to be vaccinated for us to beat COVID?
It's the biggest conundrum of our times to work our way through. But we will work our way through it.
To return to a pre-COVID normal, what's the magic number?
Vaccinated, Australia is able to live differently.
But he still hasn't said what the goal is. This is where Professor Tony Blakely, an epidemiologist at the University of Melbourne, comes into things, crunching the numbers to figure out how much of the population needs to be fully vaccinated before things get back to normal. His calculations will shock a lot of people.
So if we were to somehow get back to pre-COVID through vaccination alone, it would need incredibly high vaccination rates, 90% plus for all adults and children to get there. And even that may not be enough.
90%, that's just never going to happen, is it?
I think we can probably assume we won't achieve that.
You don't think there's a way we can just vaccinate our way out of this pandemic?
Nope, that's gone. What you mean there is we vaccinate, I throw my mask away, we tell all the contact tracers to go home, we're back to rugby scrums in the pub, and we're all safe. That's not happening.
The highly transmissible Delta variant is what's caused Professor Blakely to set the bar so high. But the professor says all is not lost if we're willing to make some sacrifices. It's possible to revise his number down to a more achievable 70% if we persist with other restrictions for years to come.
If you put 70% vaccination coverage of all adults and maybe children, ongoing mask wearing in appropriate environments, contact tracing, and occasionally going into restrictions like reducing the density in restaurants and pubs by half, and very occasionally having to dig deep into the toolkit for a lockdown, maybe a couple of weeks a year. That package should get us to a point where we're resilient for people coming into Australia without quarantine. But that point will only be reached maybe Easter next year if things go well, because we'll need to vaccinate the children as well, and maybe we'll have a virus that's even more infective by then. I hope not.
With that 70% rate of vaccination, masks are here to stay.
Absolutely. Masks are here to stay, public transport, busy indoor environments.
Do you think the public will cop that?
Well, if the public don't, and I'm part of the public, so I'm putting my public citizen hat on, what will happen is we'll see morbidity and mortality. It's as simple as that.
The way you see it, it's unlikely we'd ever get to 90% of the population fully vaccinated, but I guess you'd love to be proved wrong.
I'd love to be proved wrong, and where I hope I'm proved wrong is when we open up the borders and we're at something like 70% vaccination, people will see that this virus keeps popping up everywhere, and more of us will be incentivised to get vaccinated.
For now, though, this is the normality much of the country is faced with on a regular basis. But with each lockdown, patience wears thinner. For business leaders like Max Grundman, the time has come for everyone to get the jab and get back to their jobs.
We can't allow this to go on. Our lives, our livelihood, our mental health are all dependent on not having lockdowns and giving us the degree of immunity necessary so that we can control it. In my opinion, only vaccination is going to do that. Let's find a way to get more vaccine here. And it is a race, and let's get it done fast.